William is a dictator. You know, whatever you say, it is in his DNA.
We could have a Mobutu Sese Seko in Kenya.
It's only that the constitution will not allow him. I'm telling you, if it was not for GNCs, he was going to spit on our faces. And I've told you, merchants are people who deal with merchandise. They can sell even anything. They can sell from clothes to coffins. You know, they have no selection of the kind of merchandise. So if Raila becomes a merchandise, they can sell him.
Welcome to The Conversation. This is Richard Mwenja exclusive here on Herman Manyora's channel. I am Richard Mwenja, and today we spearhead subjects that are shaping Kenya's political and governance landscape, more particularly that one that has to do with the future of Raila Odinga, that is Azimio's chief, and the Gen Z movement, who some believe are the new outfit in town that are gonna check on the government. I have Kipruto Arap Kirwa with me to help me dissect deeper into the conversations. But first things first, allow me bring him on your screen. Mheshimiwa, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing very well, despite the fact that it's a bit cold in Nairobi.
Sure.
And of course, it comes with certain inconveniences and discomfort arising around July, August. Of course, September is one of the best months in Nairobi. If the season is kept, it keeps the same pattern.
I see you a little bit under the weather today.
Yes, because I think I sat outside the other day with about 8 GNCs.
8 Gen Zs? You're having a dialogue?
You know, we are just having normal engagement.
Oh, normal engagement.
I just enjoy listening to people because they give me a lot of wisdom. You know, at times we take for granted that people who were born the other day have no information. I realize they have a lot of information about Kenya, about Africa and the rest of the world. Perhaps more than I do, because they know this space called technology. And they get a lot of information. And that information is only available to us if we are to engage in the kind of technology they are involved in.
Why was I not invited? Am I not a Gen Z from your optic?
Well, I think you are an old stock. Because
can't you be polite?
No, no, and also at times I just want to get raw information. You know, for you now, you are dealing with a lot of issues of journalism. You'll be so guarded that you tell me what you think I need to hear.
Very well.
But these were young people, both girls and boys, and they gave me a lot of wisdom.
Sure.
Today I'm moister than I was last week.
Good, fair enough.
Yeah.
Talking about Gen Zs, they actually are an angry lot. Reason as to why, the other day at KICC when they were signing the new IBC law, the president enjoying this sort of very fond bromance with Raila Odinga. From the optics of Gen Z, they feel Raila Odinga has betrayed the cause. After many years of struggle in the dungeons, in the tunnel, he has actually drained all these medals down the sewer line. Yeah. Would you say Raila Odinga has done the biggest shortcoming from his end because Gen Z's feel he has betrayed them?
Well, I believe he goofed, and I'm sure wherever he's seated, he knows that that was not the right move. Perhaps, possibly because of the position at stake, that of the AU, then he had to be nice. But I'm sure also the president must have persuaded him that he needs another image to cleanse his own image, because the president has lost a lot of trust from many Kenyans, including even those who voted for him just less than 2 years ago. So I feel that was a goof, and I would have also expected the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka not to be involved, because he was in Meru the other day condemning the same regime. Then you are seen standing next to the president in less than 2 days. For example, if President William Ruto was to put me in the list of ministers, I can assure you, Richard, I will say no.
Why?
Because I don't believe President William Ruto will give anybody, whether it's new ministers, old ministers, people who have knowledge about their field of training, he will not give anybody a chance to foment an idea and take it to fruition. Is somebody who does not have capacity to listen, is somebody who has no time for ideas at variance with his own ideas. So I would expect us in the opposition to remain in the opposition, check the government, allow the due process to take place, and at the end of the 5 years, he can present himself as a candidate. Should he win, we allow him. Should he present himself awkwardly, the way that I know, because he's now carrying the burden of incumbency. He has nobody else to give that.
Sure enough.
So that's the way I look at it. And you know, GNC has been hoping that those of us in Azimio will backstop them. But it seems there's no Azimio anymore. In fact, I would recommend some of the parties in Azimio, like those in Jubilee, those in PNU, like the Honorable Munya, those in DAP, like the Honorable Eugene, to look for another outfit and make sure that they prepare themselves for the next election away from Azimio. Because Azimio is totally rotten and has gone to bed with the government of the day. And therefore, there's no Azimio anymore.
Advancing that conversation, you've mentioned about Eugene Wamalwa, and he's not the only person who has distanced himself from the new bromance between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. We've seen Jeremiah Kioni not believe in the new call for dialogue between the president, the opposition, and other parties. Martha Karua is also not reading from the same script. So we have Martha Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, Jeremiah Kioni, not reading from the script of Kalonzo, Raila Odinga, versus the government of the day. Don't you think this portrays Raila Odinga as someone who is after his own political interests and more of capitalizing on his core principles in Azimio to achieve only that which benefits him in the political arena?
Well, I don't want to be harsh to him because there are roles he has played and I do appreciate. That's why I was using it as a goof. Because you can make a mistake not knowing that there is a trap that has been laid for you. I think the president laid a trap for Raila so that the GNC cannot vent their frustrations anymore, because he hopes that Raila controls a certain sensible constituency in Kenya. But the GNCs have defied tribe, political arrangement, and being pigeonholed into a corner that they are either opposition or in government. They're actually being themselves. And they are reflecting the thinking of many Kenyans. They are reading the frustrations from their parents, grandparents, about the cost of living that has gone up. They are reading the frustrations of their parents and grandparents about their properties being sold in an auction just because they cannot pay debts because of pending bills. All these conspire to make the situation what it is. It's very unfortunate, Richard, that the opposition, since the advent of multipartyism, there has never been genuine opposition.
Really?
Yes, in 1992, just to take us back, that was the advent of second multipartyism. And the opposition got almost 60% of the votes. But of course, they were in disparate camps. There was Ford Asili, DP, and Ford Kenya. Those were the three main opposition parties. And in terms of numbers in parliament, they were almost as many as those of us who were in Kanu. I was in Kanu at that time. But within a certain period, most of the MPs were bought in the opposition. Some went ahead to lose, some went ahead to win and become members of Kanu, because there was that law that should you want to move to another political outfit, you must resign your seat, go for the by-election, and come back. That was 92, 97. Between 97 and 2002, Raila was practically in Kanu. Remember the issue of cooperation and eventually merger. But at the end of that, that's now 97, 2002, Raila also did something positive. He broke away from Kanu and came back with a number of Kanu stalwarts who would not have had the courage to just walk away from Moi. People like the late Saitoti, people like Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, people like Mudi Awori, people like William Olentimama, people like the late Joseph Kamodho. They all walked out of Kanu. And that is how the 2002 election was a landslide in favor of the opposition party called the National Rainbow Coalition. So that is something positive for Raila. But you know, at this stage, I think Raila needs to be consulting some of his friends. But you know, some of the friends around Raila are businessmen.
We saw him being flanked by Junet Mohammed,
And,
Governor Hassan Joho, former governor of Mombasa.
Yeah.
Many, I mean, many Azimio supporters are actually picking concern with them. Why so? Why do they feel that they have vested interest, personal interest, and not interest that will best advise Raila Odinga?
Well, I don't know, but somebody can just guess. Perhaps they know them to be merchants. And I've told you, merchants are people who deal with merchandise. They can sell even anything. They can sell from clothes to coffins. You know, they have no selection of the kind of merchandise. So if Raila becomes a merchandise, they can sell him.
At the expense of national interest and concerns?
You know, a merchant, you remember the book by, was it Julius Caesar, Merchant of Venice?
Merchant of Venice.
Yeah, Venice, yeah. That was translated by Mwalimu Nyerere, kwamba wapepare wa Venisi. That book tells you everything. That when somebody is a merchant, he can sell anything. He has no conscience. As long as there is money coming in, they don't have a problem. Of course, you remember the two guys who were suspected of fiddling around with the money for agents for Azimio in the last election. So I don't know whether it's true, but that was something that was flying around. Yeah.
Talking of merchants, Gen Zs believe that Raila Odinga has oftentimes sold the struggle to the highest bidder, in this case to President William Ruto. Why am I saying so? They find that this political move from Raila Odinga to go to bed with the government of the day, or at least to have a fonder relationship, a bromance, came at a very insensitive time when Gen Zs are decrying the death of their fellow protesters. So much economic turmoil in Kenya this time round. Going by such circumstances that are being now spoken of by the Gen Z, does that somewhat bring off Raila as someone who could have compromised the struggle for his own interest?
Well, I don't know, because you see this position of AU chair is not such a big position that Raila should be dying to have. Because I know Raila is a man of means. He's not struggling like you and I. He's a man of means.
He could do without it?
He could do without that position, given his age. You see, I'm feeling old at 67, and Raila is 12 years older than me. Why doesn't he feel old? You know, these are some of the questions I'm asking. He's my friend. But you see, friendship and public discourse are two different parameters in the same field. So
then do you see it being a Herculean task for Raila Odinga to win back the trust of the Gen Z and at least have them by the side of the opposition?
Well, Raila has the capacity to reincarnate and to redesign himself. That's why all these outfits, whether it is code that he had, whether it is NASA, whether it's Azimio, like the whatever he has, by the next election, if he's still going to run, he'll bring another outfit. Yeah, but I feel he has lost a lot of favor from the decision that he took yesterday.
Does that somewhat inform the endorsement by Gen Zs? They are now fronting Busia Senator Okiya Omtatah as a potential candidate who will be their flag bearer in 2027. My question is, why Okiya Omtatah? And number two, we also saw a larger chunk of the youth go behind George Wajakoya with his trademark Tingiza Mti slogan. Many people subscribe to it, but at the end of the day, spectacular failure met him at his doorstep. Is this fate likely to meet Okiya Omtatah as well? Is there a need for him to treat this endorsement with contempt?
No. He has also to say it is a blessing, but of course at times they say you must turn popularity into tangible votes. Okiya Omtatah has done himself a lot of justice. Even before he became Senator of Busia, he had so many cases in court that of course people have different reasons either to believe or disbelieve him, but he has acquitted himself in that space.
Sure.
So I feel there is more credence in the support they are giving him. But if I were him, I would accept it, but also network so that it's not him alone. Because you cannot rule out possibility that there are other people who will give him confidence, was he to surround himself with many other people. Because one-man show does not take off very well in Kenya. In fact, President William Ruto almost succeeded as a lone ranger. But of course, he had to bring, towards the end, he had to bring Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula, Amason Kingi, and who else? And even Justin Muturi from DP, and so forth. It tells you what? There is still need for genuine arrangement of leaders, which I usually call in Africa is a coalition of tribes. We have not yet fully elevated ourselves to that platform of issue. It is GNCs that I see, they are likely to elevate that platform of issues. No tribe, no religion,
No party.
no class. Yeah, whether you're a hustler or not, all of us have similar problems, and we need to address the problems. I feel GNC is actually a product of weak opposition that we have today.
Oh.
Yeah, they have come to occupy that space because I was still advancing the issue of there has never been genuine opposition
In this country.
because you can see 1997 up to 2002, Raila was one of the opposition leaders, moved to Kanu. Then it is 2002 that Kanu was in the opposition temporarily. But sooner than later, by the time we are going for referendum in 2005, some of the people who were in government had run away from government to join the opposition called the Kanu with a view to forming the government. Then after 97 elections, which were were disputed, there was the Grand Coalition government. And after the election of 2013, that is when there was some temporary arrangement in the opposition. But still you could see some guys from the opposition were appointed into the cabinet. And some guys moved away. Now, between 2017 and 2022, there was the coalition or the handshake between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga that gave a chance to William Ruto to look like he's the underdog and for people to sympathize with him and give him an election ticket.
Sure.
So this opposition has not been properly earmarked. It's like Kenyans don't want to be in the opposition. Even when they are voting for you, they want you to be in government. And if you don't get to government, they want you to look for a way of getting back to government. Like many of my supporters, they are telling me, should have stuck with Ruto, you would be a minister. But I just want to advise them now that I feel safer where I am. Because I wake up in the morning and I'm not worried somebody is going to accuse me of certain crimes that I've either committed or not committed.
Without chess cars, a budget to your office, you are still okay?
I'm okay. Because the little pension I get and the little I get from my farm is enough.
I even saw you came to the studio without a bodyguard.
Even at times I come without a driver.
A minister driving himself here?
Yeah, why not?
And you're comfortable with that life?
I'm comfortable, it's okay.
Many think then you are the case of from grass to grass.
Well, but the grass is soft.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got a softer landing.
Yeah, I've got a soft landing.
The helicopter never crashed?
No, I just came down, pole.
Very well.
Yes.
Very lastly, before we close this conversation, Gen Zs have been quick to endorse Gachagua Wamshombo when it comes to women in leadership in this country, much as they don't want to associate with the current political class.
Yes.
When it comes to men in leadership, they've gone for Kio Mtata. Women in leadership, they've gone for Gathoni Wamshomba.
Yes.
Why does Gathoni Wamshomba tick the boxes when it comes to Gen Z's endorsement?
Well, she's been articulating issues very clearly of our constituency and national issues. And she has a very meticulous way of isolating issues and bringing them to the level of the ordinary people. If it's about taxation, she's able to tell you how those taxes will affect you in a way that I usually admire. She's able to break down into basic, what does it mean to the ordinary person? When you say the value of the car will be increased, you'll have to pay 2.5% of the value, is able to bring to the fact that if it is a matatu, you are the one to pay for that ultimately. If it's about milk, she's able to say it. If it's about cost of feed that has almost doubled in Kenya, while the rallying call by the current president was, he was going to have the cost of feed so that we double milk production. And he was able to explain, but of course, he never told us how. And that's why you'll find, when you want to pin him down on an issue, he runs away. But the beauty with him, in the process of trying to run away, he exposes another lie. So I sympathize with him.
So it's a plethora of lies.
Of lies. And in fact, the more he keeps silent, the better it is for him. Remember the interviews in Nyandarua on Sunday, he made a statement. Tuesday, before the GNC visited Parliament, he made a statement, very combative. Wednesday, he was calling them my children. By the weekend, the tone had changed. Even by the following week, he had changed. But he has a knack for going back to that, they call it default setting.
Factory settings.
A factory setting. And for his factory setting is dictatorship. Nakiburi.
Really?
Yeah. William is a dictator. You know, whatever you say, it is in his DNA. We
could have a Mobutu Sese Seko in Kenya?
It's only that the constitution will not allow him. I'm telling you, if it was not for GNCs, he was going to spit on our faces.
Going back to the conversation about Gavin Wamshomba, there's a quoter who believes she is trying so hard to steal the thunder of Martha Karua when it comes to Mount Kenya politics and national politics. Yeah. Do you think that's the fire in the belly of Wamshomba, just wanting to steal the thunder of Martha Karua?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know her personally, but the little that I know about her, she's passionate about the issues she's talking about. So if there's somebody young in my constituency or in the part of the country I come from, I will not say that he's stealing anything from me. We occupy this space and we dance and don't overdance. In fact, for my generation, let us see how these GNCs will move. Let us support them. Let's pray for them. Because the worst that they can do is to make sure that there is as little corruption as possible. So what is it they can do? And that's the worst for the other guys, not for the country.
Would you then advise Raila Odinga, much as he's trying to recalibrate his political style and also align the stars for him in his future elective bids, and the current one being the African Union Commission bids, would you then advise him to underrate, or I should say underestimate Gen Zs at his own peril?
I would say here is a constituency that is unique. We've never seen this. I think it could have been like this at the beginning of fighting for independence in the 50s and early 60s. And of course, by the time we were forming the first government in 1963, we were still united across tribe. And those leaders, in my opinion, were more genuine about Kenya than the leaders we have today. GNCs, I just pray for them not to lose the script about Kenya. I pray for them to understand that if they were to get to a position of comfort, they should not celebrate that. The biggest celebration is to accept that this country can give us better leadership. This country can give us more resources as long as we minimize ways of receiving money corruptly.
Should they endorse you as the presidential flag bearer in 2027? Would you embrace that call, that endorsement?
Well, I think they are above me. Of course, I'm not as young as they are. I'm not as agile as they are. I would rather they endorse me as their advisor.
Okay.
Yeah, because presidential candidate, possibly I still got bad manners carried from the past. But advising, I can advise because I'm able to see. Yeah.
You'll be advising your granddaughters and grandsons.
Yeah, and my grandsons. See, I told you my granddaughter is with me at the university. One of them, Cherop.
Hautaki kutoka hii town.
Zitoki.
Gen Z wanasema gari ni mbili, moja itaenda Bondo, ingine Sugoi 2027.
Hakuna ya Kitale.
Hakuna ya Kitale. Okay. But do you see that situation come into play if Raila Odinga and William Ruto are not going to recalibrate their governance styles? That they are going to be sent home in 2027 by the Gen Zs?
I think for William, it is what we call in French, fait accompli.
Published and sealed?
Imeisha is a question of time. In fact, my worry, and this is my genuine worry,
Tell me.
is that they can chase him out of State House. That's my genuine worry. I would rather we allow him time to do whatever he's doing, but we restrain him from bad manners, but we wait for 2027. We send him home. In fact, if I were him, I would not run. Sincerely, I would not run.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't run. You know,
You'd want to be a historic quantum president?
no, but it's good. And also the beauty with him, if he believes in the projects that he has, if he was to keep away from running for those 5 years, he may be more formidable candidate to 2032. Because the Constitution does allow him to run, having run 1 term. So he may be 2-term president, but Jeka with a break. So if I were him, I would just keep the money that he has, seal it in an envelope, in dollars. 2032, he can present himself as a candidate, depending on the situation. Because somebody may come in and do better without talking like him.
But as it stands, umesema gari ya Bondo na ya Sugoi ishaekwa mafuta.
Ya Bondo sijui labda iko garage. Lakini ya Sugoi it is iko inanguruma.
Yeah. It remains to be seen. Until we meet next on Richard Mwangi Exclusive, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. But there's something special coming your way in the next 1 week. That is Heroes Corner with Kipruto Arab Kiro. A new segment on this show. You don't want to miss out on that. I won't really disclose much about it, but stay glued to this particular edition.
Why do you call me a hero? I'm a funny guy.
You're a funny guy in town?
Yeah, in town. With
many accomplishments and accolades to your name?
No, I think those are God's intervention. And prayers that my mother used to pray.
You're just trying to play the humble pie.
No. But you see, I don't consider myself a hero. I remember one time, you know, and I talk about Kibaki so many times.
And Nyerere.
We were talking of Heroes Corner. We wanted that place to be called Heroes Corner, these Uru Gardens. And after a lot of discussion, Kibaki looked at us and said, who among you fellows is a hero? You know, I laughed because really it's like we were believing that we are going to be buried there because we are heroes. We call it Heroes Corner. We wanted to bury Wamalwa there.
Next to the tomb of the unknown warrior.
Yeah. So anyway, at times, who is the hero in this town? Because it's heroes depends on who is saying it. There are many people who believe William Ruto is their hero. Of course, many more Kenyans believe Raila is their hero. Many in posthumously, Kibaki now is their hero. Even those who didn't like him when he was alive, now he's their hero. Do you know why? Because Kibaki was able to reduce the amount of money that was going to pay debts. Moi, for every 100 shillings, 28 was going to pay debt. Kibaki reduced to 18. Uhuru took it to 70. Ruto has taken it to 90. Do you see the way it is? That's why Kibaki now is our hero. Yes.
Farah Maalim, our hero perhaps also?
Is our villain.
He's watching this show, by
yeah, Farah, you are a villain. Because you cannot tell us that you will kill 5,000 Kenyan per day if you are the president. I thank God you may never be the president of this republic. I'm telling him that.
Are you going to take your words?
No, I can't. I can't. Bring him to the show. You can give him a right of reply.
I shouldn't edit that out?
No.
Let it go as raw as it is?
As raw as it is. You cannot say you can kill 5,000 Kenyans per day, which means for 10 days you would have killed 500,000. That is genocide. I don't know whether he knows that.
Mandera Marsabit is watching you.
Yeah, even the rest of the country. No, I have no problem with the people of Mandera. No, Garissa. He comes from Garissa, a place called Dadaab. And he has a lot of refugees. Why does he want Kenyans to get into a refugee situation when he knows the pain of a refugee? Unless he's taking advantage of that.
I shall invite him on the show.
Yeah, let him have a right to answer. Yeah, he will say anything and allow him to say as much as he can.
You won't run away?
Who?
You.
You want us to be here together?
Yeah, I want to bring you two on the show.
Yeah, invite him.
Challenge taken. Until next time on the show, do enjoy the rest of your viewing.